And we're back here live on location. KBKG More Music 93.5, your hometown radio station here in Corning, Arkansas. God's country, as we like to call it. Beautiful crime-free Corning, Arkansas.
And what are we doing? Good morning, Corning.
There we go. We're supposed to all three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good morning, Corning.
God, that was really bad. We got to work on that.
Vietnam.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Speaking of battling, we've got a battle tonight on the gridiron right over here. And the man who's going to lead us into battle, Mr. Farrell Shelton. Coach Shelton, it's good to have you along, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, I know on a game day, especially the first game of the year, for you to be here isn't probably easy, you know, between the teaching and coaching, all the things you have going on. So I really do want to say thank you for that. I'm going to jump right in there because I don't want to waste your time. I know you're a busy man, especially on a game day, so I'm going to make this really quick, jump right in there. Can you tell us, maybe someone who's never been a coach, obviously Coach Walls is going to know, but we're not, what is on a game day for a head football coach? What is kind of your schedule from the morning all the way, even after the ball game?
Well, I think through the years it's become, I think, more of a routine. And when I first started, it was busy. It was really, I was just trying to find busy work. Now it's kind of to the point now, I think on Fridays I'm more at peace than any other day because the time's been put in. My major concern always is the kids. Just make sure the kids are in the right frame of mind. You know, today one thing that I'll make sure when I get back is I've got plenty of Gatorade and pickle juice for them, and you know, to keep them hydrated, and and just make sure that every kind of thing stays on schedule. I'm a schedule guy. 5 minutes before the schedule begins, I really wanted to get going, so that we can get into a game day routine. And I think I really learned that respect that there's the kids, they get ready in 23 different ways. Some kids like music. Some kids like to lay by themselves. Some kids want to talk with their friends. Some kids. So you have to respect that. When I was younger, I thought everyone needed to do the same thing, every rigid. And me myself, I think there will be periods today I just want to be by myself.
Yeah.
And what I start thinking of, if I get into a situation, what situation has come up, what might come up. Make sure that we prepared. I'll have another coaches meeting or 3. And just go back over our, make sure we've got our first 6 plays ready to go. We may change our first 6 plays here. So, it's that, and just leave the kids alone. And when I see them today, I don't talk football with them. Everyone knows what's going to happen tonight. They're all excited about it. I like moving throughout the school to see the excitement within the school. Yeah. And just listen to other kids, and you get to see the kids interact with their teachers. And today was, they wanted to bring back something, dress up day. And so,
I like that. Yeah,
it was, and I had went out and bought them, dry fit, Corning football dry fit shirts to be cool today, and $30 each and everything. So they're sitting there, I'm like, oh, okay. So we'll go to plan B. We'll plan on this one. Yeah. So anyway, just seeing the kids interact and making sure that they've got what they need to get ready to play today is my biggest concern.
Okay. Now, from all accounts, obviously I didn't follow you guys in the summer, but from all accounts, everyone has said this is the busiest, the most active off season that this football program has had in quite a while. I want to commend you for that, number one. But number two, do you mind recapping that for the folks that maybe didn't know what all you guys did this summer? Yeah,
we started in June with our weightlifting. We designate a certain amount of days that we like to have kids there. In June we don't do a lot except lift. We did go to one pad camp in Paragould last week of June, and then really for us, our busy time in football gets ready in July. We came back after our 2-week dead period, and we had a couple nights of 7-on-7 with Rector. Okay. Then we went to Branson. We went to Branson for a team camp. We went overnight up there. That was a real eye-awakening moment for him. Yeah. And I consider Tim Hufford is my senior captain center, and I said, how was it? And the only thing Tim said, he goes, we've never experienced anything like this. Wow. And what it was is it really showed we got a hold of some teams up there. We were probably
okay. Gotcha.
We were one that there was 2 teams. There was one other team our size there, but that was okay. Yeah. And I think really what we learned, that you need to be ready every play. You know, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You know, there were 20 teams from Missouri there, 10 different fields.
Wow.
And just, you know, just magnitude. You know, I think it may have overwhelmed a little bit. We went to.
It did me as a parent.
It was awesome. It was awesome to
crying. Yeah, I was.
It was awesome to stay all night. We went over to the Branson track for a night, and
cool.
for a few hours, and
good bonding.
Made fun of each other. So it was good there, and they got up and played football and came home. We went to Thayer for a camp. It was us, Thayer, Salem, and Donovan.
Yeah.
Went a week, and then after we got back from Branson, we hosted Chaffee, Thayer, Donovan, and there were 4 teams. Anyway, there were 5 of us there. So we held that over there, and you know, I think that was the week after the Branson camp, and there was a huge amount of progress made.
Really?
You know, for us. You know, so teams, you know, like I always said, teams are
Thayer's good now. Or has
Thayer's
been.
good. Thayer's very good, and our first camp up there, they put it on us, and our seniors bowed their neck up and said, you know, this is our field. Let's let's make sure that we're seen, and I think they wanted to come back and not even vengeance style, but they wanted to come back and improve what they could from the Branson camp, and we were able to watch film, and you know, film doesn't lie, and it was right there in front of them. So they took to coaching, and they really came back off that camp, and they did a nice job. So those last 3 weeks, it got real busy for us as a coach. You know, especially with our numbers, what you're concerned about is, boy, if I get an injury in the summer and kid sits out 6 weeks, you know,
sure.
so I'm always weighing that, you know, in and out. But I just felt that we needed to get out there and get some experience. We're heavy senior laden. You know, our offensive line will go senior tackle to tackle, senior tight end, senior quarterback, senior running back. So for those guys, the game has slowed down. You know, hopefully it's slowed down for them. You know, some of them started now up to 3 years, and so they appreciated it. You know, as trying to make this a great senior year for them, and our young kids bought in, and you know, hopefully we can continue to grow off of it.
Farrell, what's your thoughts on how the boys performed the other night over at Gosnell?
Oh, I was very happy with them. You know, again, we got over there and we played Paragould, who is under Coach Gunn. Coach Gunn and I know each other. He was coach at Arkansas State, and he would recruit to schools. I was in St. Louis, and so he and I go back a long ways. And so a 5A school that's really turning. You know, they're turning it around. I don't know the whole history of Paragould. Then we played Gosnell. You know, man, Gosnell walked out. I'm not kidding. They walked out 4 receivers that in my 33 years, I can honestly at Kirkwood, I think my last year maybe, we had 4 kids that looked like that all went D1.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding you. They were just ordinary Joes at Gosnell.
Yeah.
I mean, because Gosnell had 4 more run out there. So
yeah. Man.
So I thought the boys looked stronger.
We really got the physical mindset. We're, you know, if Corning's ever going to be good, and you go back and you look at, you know, the Mike and Mark, you know, teams, you know, we're never going to out-athlete anybody here. You're going to have to be good on your offensive lines. And, you know, if we're good on our offensive lines, we can always control the game. And so that's been our game plan. I think we're good on the offensive lines this year. Again, a lot of those kids have started, you know, and they know each other very well. You know, linemen have their own language. You know, It's a grunt, it's a punch in the leg, it's something. They just kind of, you know, they know each other, and so we're really growing. You know, we're growing there. But I think you know, again, we went out there against Paragould. We were very successful. It was so late in the night. You know, we were 9:15 and we started scrimmaging Gosnell.
And the mosquitoes started.
That was. And I, you know, and the Gosnell coach and I agreed to, hey, let's just go a 10-minute running.
Yeah.
Running clock here, and you know, I thought we agreed on our 2s, and he had his first D, and he wanted some work, and I get it. So I put our first O out there against Gosnell, a big test for us, and the kids in 3 plays. I thought they did very well.
Yeah.
So you know, that was I've seen. I guess my point is, from the time we had our camp to the scrimmage, there's been progress.
I think the boys have matured a lot.
Yeah. You know, and I think they're really starting to trust each other. You know, and if we get that O-line trusting and the mesh between our running backs and our quarterbacks and receivers and stuff, you know, that's when it'll start clicking.
Yeah.
They start seeing it, then they can come talking the lingo to me. You know, they know exactly what play to run. They see what's open, and so that's, you know, I think that's been a big part of our growth over the last month.
I know, as a parent, just being around the kids, they have that excitement When you start talking about their season, man, you won't find a kid on that team right now that's not excited about this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know we'll go to Osceola. Everybody kind of expects Osceola to
Sure,
win.
sure.
You don't have that mentality this year. Yeah. From talking to the boys, hey, even Hoxie,
Yeah.
we're going to give them a run.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, we're going to go over with our heads down already beat.
Sure.
They're excited.
And I think everybody, I got guys at work, man, I can't wait till next Friday night.
Yeah.
I think that's, they always said a great leader doesn't necessarily get you to believe in or them to believe in you. A good leader gets the kids to believe in themselves, and I think that's the thing is belief. And I think you got these kids believing. Obviously, we had a really great end to last year, a 2-game winning streak, and getting that monkey off our back, that curse for 9 years. By the way, I want to talk about that. You've been in one of the biggest rivalry games. You could probably argue in the country, honestly, with the Kirkwood rivalry there. Was it Eureka?
It was Kirkwood and Webster.
Webster, sorry. Eureka was where he's at before Kirkwood. What was the Rice Bowl like for you? That was obviously an experience for you. I know obviously a lot smaller classification. There's not any state titles or D1 players mixed in, but what was that rivalry like compared to your Kirkwood rivalry?
It was just as big, When I looked over there and saw the Piggott crowd, I said, well, if anyone was smart and they wanted to go breaking houses in Piggott because they were all there.
You're right.
And right there showed showed the I think the fever of the game. Both teams that neither team had the season that they were wanting.
Yeah.
Coach Simmons, I admire him a lot. He comes from Kansas. So but we knew that we were all going to lay it on the line that night, and just the in the last minute there when. I'll tell you. So we're on the headphones, and I had already figured out the clock, and I think Piggott had called their last time out, but it was over. I think there was a minute 13 left, and we huddle up, and I take my headset off, and Coach Poe was trying to contact me from the top, and I said, "Fellas, game's over." And the players heard me. The offense come over, and one of the players goes, "What do you mean, Coach? The game's over?" I said, "It's over." I said, we're going to down it 3 times, and we just went, and total tears just started coming out of that. Just started coming out of kids. And he goes, well, how do you know that? I go, just trust me, the game's over. I promise you.
It's math, baby.
I said 3 times 40 is 120, and there's only 63 left. So it was really exciting. I love the school. Just the way the team, I think the school rushed the field, the way it made it, the players, and seeing those seniors who left last year when they would see the Rice Bowl trophy in the facility. And
oh, man.
And something I talked about yesterday, when you talk about players trusting, and I told the kids a story yesterday where, it was a year ago, we moved down here, and we're packing the final stuff and moving in, and my wife has, got the jewelry is coming in.
Yeah.
Some rings came out, and I have a ring from winning the state championship, and then I have a ring from winning a championship in college.
Yeah.
And my wife asked me, she goes, which one's more important to you? And without blinking an eye, I go, the one I won in college. And she goes, are you serious? And well, for her, she goes, this one looks nicer. I said, you didn't ask that. I said, which one means more? And I told her, I said, and it goes exactly back to what you were. My college coach was the type of guy that, you always knew who was coach, but it was never about him. It was always about, you guys need to trust each other, and the reason I admire that, I love that ring so much is as a starter on a championship team, and the other 60 guys held me accountable. I held them accountable. They knew when I got on the field, I was as prepared as could be. I wasn't going to let them down. When I got done with the game, they knew I was going to give them 100%. And that's what that's what I try to instill here. So, and that's what the kids are I hope are focusing on. You don't worry about answering to a coach. That comes. Okay. Yeah. Be able to answer to the guy next to you, that he can look at you and he knows that you gave everything you had. And I told him that's the perfect game. We're all going to mess up. No one's going to make every tackle. No one's going to make every block. But just make sure that guy next to you knows that you gave him 100%. And if you did that, if you'll do it at the end of the game, then you've played the perfect game.
Bingo. Tell me a little bit. We got a little bit of new look on the sideline this year, and what I mean by is the assistant coaches. Tell me a little bit about each of these coaches that are coming in, for those that may not know out there that's listening.
Yeah, we this year we know Coach Golden left. He went to Brooklyn. So I spoke to him last night. But anyway, so we added Coach Kyle George is on our staff now, head coach of the baseball. Son's coming up through. has just done a phenomenal job. And being able to have another, even though it's not football, being able to have another head coach on staff, and even though I've done it so long, I can always shoot things at him, you know, and because, you know, I tell those guys, when you move from the assistant's chair to the head chair, it is a different dynamic. The fun's here.
Yeah.
When you go over there,
it's stress.
That's when it's stress. So shooting things off him does a great job. Like I said, and he's, you know, most importantly, he's Bobcat through and through.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna, you know, something happens that upsets the Corning mojo. You know, Coach Kyle's going to fix it. Yeah. We got Coach Trevor Barages, who played here also again. You know, and
fine young man.
Yeah, and a family man, and just you know him coming from the business world gives it a new light. You know, I'll sit there and ask him, and I'll say, hey, what would you have done when he worked for that company? You know, what would you have done for that guy who walks in late? And that's what we're trying to get to players like Coach Mark was sitting here. Being late is a life skill. You know, some we try to teach, and he goes, you're fired. You know, and so they're not hearing that from Coach. They're hearing that from a guy who was a boss at a multi-billion-dollar company. And then we got Coach Daniels. Coach Daniels, again, you know, a Bobcat through and through. We got him over from Piggott. Has great relationship with the kids. You know, was able to coach a lot of them in Pee Wee. So, you know, when you have, you know, most importantly, when you have the different age variances on a staff, you know, I don't know the music that these kids listen to. You know, but
sure you won't.
I do.
I don't want to.
Ball games.
And I don't want to know. I just look at Coach Daniels or Coach Barages and ask, is it clean? Is it decent? You know, is it something that their mom will let them listen to? And if they say yes, then I trust them. So, you know, and also it's fun, I think, in my point of my career to be able to, you know, teach, you know, younger coaches. You know, and the thing I told them in our first staff meeting this year, I'm not, you know, I love learning football. So please understand, I don't know everything, and I'll never let on that I know everything. I call guys. Awesome. I call guys 3 or 4 times a week. You know, guys that you know I know, and I ask them questions about this, and this. I may not ever run it. I may not ever do it, but I want to get their point of view. You know, and I told them, I said, you know, if you ever want to sit down, and they do, hey, Coach, can you teach me this? Teach me this. And you know, they look over there and behind my shelf, and I just got notebooks. And you know, I think the other day I pulled one out from 1991. You know, that I sat down with the guy I started to learn under. You know, you know, and he had a different way of doing it. But man, I didn't ask questions. I just sit there and I just was writing, you know, for 3 hours. You know, so hopefully they'll learn something and, you know, be able one day to, you know, become a coordinator, or if they want to become a head coach, they can take something away from us.
That's awesome that a guy of your stature has done as many great things as you have, and to still be open enough to learning new things and things of that nature. That's awesome. I like that about you. And it's probably no wonder why you're going to be inducted this year. By the way, congratulations into the Missouri Coaches Hall of Fame. When is that, by the way?
December 9th.
December 9th. I'm going to try to make sure we can get there for that. That is awesome, man. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, well, you know, it's when you mention that, I always thought a Hall of Fame was for people who are dead. So
you're not close to that yet, Farrell.
So I know it is. I'll never forget going to the all-state meetings, and every year the induction ceremony is the Friday night of we hold all-state meetings, the induction meetings that night, and I remember seeing some of these coaches, and I'm like, holy cow, he coached how many years?
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at the amount of wins they had, you're like, oh, my gosh, look at, you know, that's just incredible. And then all of a sudden when that phone call came last year, I sat there and I said, I'm one of those guys. I said, how did this happen? Where did this go? And I can remember in 2004, coach's name was Tony Severino. He's out of Rockhurst. He's first in Missouri, I think 5th all-time ever in the United States in wins. And one of the most gracious human beings I've ever seen. Coached at Rockhurst, a big private school over there in Kansas City, and I'll never forget when he got inducted. You know, I was like, you got to see this guy. I was fortunate enough to play him in a semifinal game this year, and I'll guarantee this. And I know there's no one from Missouri listening. I'm the only coach in the state of Missouri that has a winning record against him because I only played him once. And you want to know more. You don't want to know, but it goes back to. First of all, the players that you know that I've had, the guys that I coach with, the principals, the athletic directors, the parents, they're all, I'm way down here. I was fortunate just to, to hook on for the ride of it. And it's a very special, it'll be pretty special seeing all those guys there. A lot of friends of mine that coach in Missouri that have been inducted, they'll come back. And so it's special. I can't say honor because I don't think I'm, I don't think I'm worthy, of being called it being an honor. But man, there's sometimes I just catch myself and I've got to give a speech and and I'm sitting there saying, I don't even know how to talk to these guys. And these guys are.
What do I do with my hands?
Hey, can we do this on CSR broadcast?
Well, I'm gonna ask him. That's why I asked him what day it was. I'm gonna call them and say they may not let me, but I'm gonna try.
Farrell, if you wasn't worthy, you wouldn't be there.
But I because they were all so intimidating. I'm not equals, but I'm like there's Coach Severino and there's Terry or Coach Donahue at Blue Springs and all these guys, and you're just in awe of those guys.
Yeah. All right. So enough about the Missouri stuff and all those questions. I want to talk to you, and I'll get to Portageville here in a minute. But I want to talk about your schedule this year. I know you're a coach, so you're probably laser focused on Portageville. But I want to talk about your schedule. So this is a really unique year. I've looked into the history. I can't find a year where we've had 4 non-conference games in a bye week in the same schedule. It's really unique. The bye week, obviously we lost Harrisburg, and they didn't replace them, so we have 7 teams in conference now. And my understanding was they took whatever place the schedule was for Harrisburg as your bye week. Do you like that, where it's at? No.
No. I'm the new guy in. I was a new guy in the conference, so and it was something that they just did. I hope we revisit it, next year. Yeah. Because whoever played Harrisburg in Week 10. Yeah, if you don't make the playoffs, then your season is done in Week 9. It was kind of the easiest thing at that time, and it was also at a time when people were grabbing games and throughout the state, and at the same time the state was releasing the conferences. So it kind of all meshed together, and I think it was going to be a bad storm for some of our conference teams of finding enough games. And Tom Sears down at Hawks, he's been here forever, and he said, guys, we probably need to go this way now. And then we'll revisit in a couple of years, and then you can we'll make our conference schedule out, and then wherever you want your bye week, you can go ahead and you throw it in there.
What week did Hoxie have Harrisburg? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's a joke. Let's get on tonight, though. Tonight, obviously, anytime you have a season opener, it's exciting. I don't care what year it is. It's an exciting time for the fans, the alumni, the old coaches over there. All of us are excited. Leading up to this week, can you tell me was it a good week of practice, and what's the health status? Is everybody healthy coming into this week?
Yeah. We had one kid out with a little sickness, but kind of reading this summer and this spring, with less numbers, we have my goal coming into tonight's game was get them here 100% healthy, and if we're 85 to 90% in shape, I would rather take that. So I didn't do a whole lot of we ran our gassers on Monday and Tuesday. I try to get through to the coaches, make practice our conditioning. If we can sprint around for an hour and a half during practice, that's just as good as going out and running 1040s or whatever. So, and the kids have responded. The kids have also, understood that, if you only have 23 players, I have 11 and 11. 5 guys can't go over here and sit on the sidelines. So, I think they reflect well. So we're healthy, and that's huge for tonight. As a coach, what keeps me awake at night is, in this game, there's going to be injuries, and oh boy, we're thin. If there's some, there are some worst case scenarios. I'll say that, in certain positions. But I think all teams our size, are going to worry about that. But we're healthy right now, and we have a substitution plan going into tonight, and we'll go through the first quarter and a half, for conditioning. And the one thing I told the kids, as we looked, and we're always looking Monday out for the weather. The heat really cranked up here.
It did. Yeah.
And the thing I told them, I said, if you cramp, it's your fault. I said, what happens on Friday night is what you did or didn't do 48 hours out. Preparing your body, getting ready for tonight. And I said, you guys that cramp easy, you got to make sure you got a bottle of water in your hand all day. Like I said, we'll have Gatorade and pickle juice for them, and make sure that they're ready to go. So if we can get Portageville, if we can drag them into deep water and we're still in the game in the second half, hopefully, our conditioning is going to come on through.
Awesome. I want to get, before y'all ask a question, real quick, just some social media stuff. Rich Martin. Rich is the voice of the Bobcats. Essentially, he's our PA guy there. He says, glad to see the ties are back. The football players have decided to wear ties on game days like we all used to. He loves that. So, obviously, that's an awesome thing there. Myrna Donaldson says, love this. We've had some good coaches come through the years. We're so thankful to have Coach Shelton here. And I know our boys love Coach. And then she said something about Barton there, but we're not going to mention that. He's got a big enough head as it is, so we don't want that. But but go ahead, Mark. I'll interrupt you. Sorry.
From a coach's point of view, what would you like to see from your fans?
Oh, our fan, just the part of it is support the players in whatever they do, good or bad. I know this, that the kids know, like, for example, if a receiver drops the ball, the catch the ball, is what you'll hear. They know they're supposed to catch the ball. I promise you that. We don't ever say catch the ball. We talk about the process that it takes to catch a ball.
Yeah.
Support, and I can tell you this, right, and I think I told his parents, at the parents meeting, I'm going to be the first to admit I'm going to make mistakes. That's the guarantee this year. I'm going to make mistakes, but I promise you this, that if you're upset with the call, I can promise you there's about 2 hours of film and reasoning put into the call. If it was a bad call, it's on me. And I, just give us support. The fans will stay by us through draw or win. I understand that, but we'll. And I
just caught that. Sorry, Coach.
I think they'll.
Took me a second.
I think they'll. It's just fans are going to be fans. The parents are our best fans because they get it. They understand all the time that the boys have went through in the battles, and also the respect that we got to give our opponent. We're going against a very, very good football team tonight. It will be very difficult for us. They're good.
How would you like to see the carryover from the Piggott game last year, as far as the fans go?
Oh, I would love it. Just a support, for the kids, and hopefully you can rush the field again tonight. Afterwards, it was, the fans anywhere, I think, are going to have that passion for their team. And I don't think it's any different here.
Well, listening to me and Andy, they would have thought we won a state championship.
Oh, I was excited, brother. We were pumped.
We're going to give a shout-out to all the fans listening that tonight we expect them to show up and repeat the end of the season last year.
Yeah, get your tails in the seats, and if you don't, I'm coming door to door on Monday, and you're going to address that with me.
You can't do that because this is crime-free cornering.
That's right. I can't get out there like that. You're right. Obviously, I know you said, hey, it's a small classification, small town, so the numbers might always be there. But 23 is not easy I know you're being humble, but 23 is probably not easy for any coach anywhere. I don't care what classification. If there's any kids out there that are on the fence about playing, or maybe there's a parent out there, or a grandparent that's raising their kid, and they're on the fence about playing football, what would you tell them? What would be your advice to them?
Well, I think one of the big issues is safety. They'll go back. Football has never been safer than it is now, than it ever has been.
I agree. I'm
not going to sit on here and tell you that injuries aren't going to occur. One thing that parents are very concerned about is concussion. Being at Eureka and Kirkwood, the one thing that they do is they educate us, and they sent us to the best clinics, workshop. We worked, in fact, when I was at Kirkwood, we worked with Dr. Mark Halstead. Dr. Mark Halstead was one of the 3 doctors that wrote the NFL protocol.
Wow.
For concussions. He lived in Kirkwood. He worked with us and what we could do to and he was always said, listen, I'm never going to use the word that it's going to be eliminated. Yeah. He goes, but what we can do to reduce it, and there's nothing, I can tell you this, there's the equipment, helmets don't reduce concussion. The USA tackling, which is how we teach tackling. And then the one thing we talked about, neck strength. That's one of the studies. So the other part of it is for kids in high school, and I think the biggest kids is you get this one time in your life,
Absolutely.
time. And you don't. I promise you this. You don't want to go back and say, "Boy, I should have played," and then you look back. And 5 years later, we all know that You get them got to go to, and I told him, you get them got to go to work every morning and stuff like that. And and then you had a chance, all you had to do is just go play football, and be with your classmates, share the experience. As going back to the Hall of Fame, some of the players are coming back, and they'll text me, and they're going to be at the ceremony, and not one of them ever brings up a score. What they'll talk about is, hey, you remember that joke we played on him on the bus, or what we did at camp? Hey, Coach, you probably don't want to hear this, but we had a boxing tournament one time at one of the camps, and so it's all about the experiences of life, of just go out there and just and again, like I talked to our team, last night. What made my college ring so special was there was 11 of us that came off that team that were head coaches at one time, and we still all associate today.
That's awesome.
I just talked to one last night at 9:30 last night. We all it's that association that you will have for the rest of your life, that you can always go back and say, yes, we were. We went into a football game together, and we went through struggles together, and we hurt together. That no one is ever going to be able to take that away from you. And then and like I told him last night, I said, us winning that Rice Bowl last year, our seniors who left last year, no one can take that away from them.
Amen.
I talked about 2 years ago. I said the senior group that went to the playoff and won the home playoff game, no one can ever take that away from them. So why not go out there? Is it tough? Yes, it's difficult.
Sure.
And it's a difficult game. You practice more than you play. You practice out in the heat and stuff, but man, in the end, it's just, it's experience. And the other thing I tell them, I go, you're in the best shape of your life. I promise you that.
Yeah,
I promise you that. So get out there and have some fun and just cut it loose.
That was the most exciting game I think I've ever been to in my entire life of football. And I've been to lots of football games.
And it was a 7-0 game. You wouldn't think, but it really was. There was something about the atmosphere, the long drought or whatever you want to call it, both teams really being even and just being, it was like a slugfest. Well, literally and figuratively there for a little bit, but it really was. It was just what a way to end last season, though. That was a lot of fun. Coach, I know you're busy, and I know we've kept you for a little while here. I want to thank you, though, personally, and here's why. You have an incredible resume before you came here. An incredible resume. No one's going to argue that. Obviously, you're getting inducted this year into the Hall of Fame there in Missouri. And I know you've got family in this area and all that, but you could have went anywhere. I mean, seriously. And you don't have to answer this, but I'm sure that, and folks at home, we need to really get behind this guy, because I promise you there's other schools calling. He may not admit that, but I guarantee you there's going to be bigger schools knocking on the door. We are so lucky to have this guy. Coach, I just want to say thank you for choosing Corning and for coming back again and choosing Corning. That means a lot to me. Like I said, a guy of your stature, you could be coaching anywhere you wanted to in this state just about, and that means a lot to me. So I want to say thank you for that.
No problem. You're welcome.
That's Coach Shelton, guys. Big game tonight, Portageville. Y'all get out there. Let's support this team. Let's support him. And hopefully we can start the season with a big win. We're going to go to break, guys. You're listening to Good Morning Corning live on KBKG. More music, 93.5.